to say hello to everyone who is watching us now. And please, I would like you to represent yourself, who you are, and where are you now?
Well, my name is Val Corva, and I am in my home in isolation. And my home is in Macrae in Victoria, Australia. And that's about 100 kilometres from Melbourne, the city of Melbourne, where we had the convention in 2018 for Inner Wheel. And my Inner Wheel club is the Inner Wheel Club of Williamstown. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
And we are in District A61, and we've been going for, we were chartered in 1992. And I was one of the charter members of the club back in 1992. So, come on, nearly 28 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
So tell me, please, what are you doing during this lockdown? You are also locked down, am I right?
Yes, we are. We're at stage 3, not stage 4. So we are allowed to leave the house for to buy supermarket items or medical appointments, that sort of thing. But we're not allowed to go, and we're allowed to go out to exercise as well, not to a gymnasium, but we can go walking in the park or on the beach or around our street or things like that. But you can't gather with people. You can't get more than 2 people together. So you can really only be with the people who are in your home, and that's my husband and myself. So there's just 2 of us. Okay. And the rest of the catching up is with Zoom or Messenger, FaceTime, anything that we can do. That's all we can do. But look, it's been fantastic. My club has connected very strongly with emails and messages, and we've had a song list going. If we've been thinking of a song in isolation that might depict we're a bit down or we're feeling better today or that sort of thing, we've been doing a song list. And we've been sending poems or funny jokes or anything that we could do. But the best thing that happened this last week in my club was we inducted a new member via Zoom. So that was pretty good.
You're right. And how do your club conduct I'm sorry, because in the morning I have a very poor English.
Oh, you're excellent. I don't speak a word of Ukrainian, I'm sorry.
I don't know. I want to ask, what are you doing now in club to support yourself and for the community?
Well, really the club is on hold at the moment in terms of being, well, obviously we can't have our meetings or anything, but like I just said, we had a new member inducted because she qualified to join the club and she was so keen. She really wanted to come along and be part of Inner Wheel. And we thought, we don't know when we can meet again. So that's why she was inducted, and the club president took a round of rose and her name badge and took it to her home so that she could have that. But within our community, there's not really anything physically, pardon me, that we are in a position to be able to do at the moment. There is a needs base that we can do, and that's sort of helping where they're doing food boxes and things like that. People can help with distributing, essential items, or if there's someone in the community that needs items delivered from the supermarket or their medication, things like that. There are ways like that, but there's not really that much opportunity to get out there because we're not meant to be doing that. And so you feel a little bit isolated at the moment in terms of communicating with the community.
How do you think how the world will change after all of this?
That's a really good question. I'm feeling quite positive. I'm feeling really quite positive. And the reason I say that is because I'm noting some of the really good things that are happening during isolation. I really do feel people are being kinder. They're reaching out, they're being more caring. We've had some terrible incidents of selfish people fighting over toilet paper and all sorts of things in the supermarket. people have been really caring for one another, and neighbours have been connecting, even maybe people you haven't met. We have a WhatsApp group in our street, and we're trying, you know, I live in quite a long street, and we know a lot of the people, but not all, and some of them are elderly. So there's a real reaching out and trying to see if you can help. But also where I live, because I actually live 100 kilometres away from my club, so it's quite a long distance away from my club where I live. But I've noticed where we are, it's a very beautiful area up on a hill, and we look out over Port Phillip Bay. And I've noticed that without the traffic noise, you can hear the birds more, and the water's clearer. And I've been really loving seeing on the news all of the changes in the world that are happening, because Mother Nature is taking over and restoring things that human beings have made a mess of.
Yeah,
And
I've been living. I've been living in my mother's home for a month here.
You are?
Yes, with my two children and my husband. I've been living here with my mother and her husband and their son, and with my two children. And my husband lives in Odessa, back to Odessa. He works in the city, and we are living in the country now for a month. And yes, I came here with my children, and so every day I see this beautiful view of the Dniester Liman, and I hear birds and I see nature. You know, I had no possibility to see it back in my apartment in the city.
Yeah. No, I think people are really noticing. One of the things, my husband was born in Italy, and we have family in Italy that we connect with. And you see these beautiful videos of the canals in Venice are clear, and even dolphins came back to the canals.
But that's not true.
Was it not true? Oh, no.
Yesterday I saw a film about Venice, Venice lockdown. I will show you. It's very nice. I love Venice. No dolphins in channels, but the water is really clear, because there are lack of tourists and no boats running along the channels, and that's why they don't no mud. You know, from
well, that's good. No, because the air is a lot clearer. The pollution with less traffic and without the planes in the air and everything like that. You know, I think people are have got a real awareness of the impact of human beings on our planet. Right. And I think people will do things differently. I really feel we're going to be encouraged more, not just for the caring and the nurturing and the kindness, but I really do think it's a wake-up call that we need to look after our planet more. And that's why I am hopeful that some good things will come out of this difficult time.
So can we say that this pandemic was necessary?
Oh, I wouldn't know how to answer that, to be honest. Necessary, I hope not, because the loss of life around the world's been huge, and it's heartbreaking every day to turn the news on and hear how many thousands and thousands of people have died. And it's a big price to pay for a virus to be released on the world or to be infecting the world. It's a big price to pay, such a huge toll of human life. So I'm hoping it wasn't necessary. I'm hoping it wasn't deliberate. There are all sorts of conspiracy theories going around that we hear.
I like conspiracy.
And you've just told me there were no dolphins in Venice, so I'm shattered about that. But you know, I don't know what's true and I don't know what's not true with all the news that we're hearing, because there are so many reports. People are sending messages, and there's videos, and there's all sorts of things.
Yes,
and you don't know what the truth is.
That's why I think it's a conspiracy, because there are so many news and everything is confused in my head, for example. I don't know.
No, I don't know either. I don't know. And I do wonder if we will find out. You know, I don't know whether we will even know the truth behind it. And I hope, you know, the impact of this on so many things has been massive. But one of the good things that I have felt is that it's never happened in all my time on the earth, and I'm probably 3 times your age, but I have felt the connection with the whole world at the same time, fighting against the same enemy. We're all united to be fighting this virus, which is affecting every single country, and we all find ourselves at the same time having to do the same things, having to adjust our life in a different way, but we're very similar in how we're approaching it. You know, in the lockdown, the economy's being impacted, we're missing our family and friends, all of the things, everybody is feeling that at the same time. And in my whole life, I haven't lived through a war, and I have lived through the Vietnam War, but I haven't lived through a war, a global world war. And I haven't seen the whole world affected in the way that it has at the moment. And it's that unity that I'm really hopeful that something positive will come out of that, because it makes me feel good to know that all of us are, here I am talking to you now. You might not have ever contacted me. And by the way, thank you.
Oh, but thank you that you connected us.
Because it's just lovely. It's just lovely to do it. I got online and I had a look at your club. Now, I think you were chartered in November of 2018, is that right?
2018, I guess we're now, this year will be 2 years that we have chartered, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And how many members do you have?
We have about 23 members that are, yes, all the time. I mean, how in English? My God, you know, I'm an interpreter. I learned English and German for 16 years, and it was 20 years ago. And now my English is impassive. It's very hard for me. It was very hard to start these interviews because I was afraid that my English is very poor. Because I can write.
Your English is excellent, and far better than I
you.
would ever be able to speak Ukraine. No, it is. It's excellent. I have taught English as a second language, believe it or not, and I think your English is fantastic. So I'm very impressed. My Australian accent, I'm thinking, how is she going to understand my Australian accent? Because I know I speak quickly. You can understand me okay?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Your English is very nice. I can say that people from Europe, as me, we understand best of all people from Germany. The English like our Russian or Ukrainian language. That song.
Very precise.
But it's very hard for me to understand Americans, they're just very fluent and they swallow endings, and it's very hard for me to understand.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you'd understand the Aussie accent so much. So.
Your accent is right. For me, it's like a song for my ears.
That's a compliment.
I wanted to ask you a question about your government. Does your government help you in this period?
Yes, they're doing a really great job, Irina, I think. It doesn't matter what side of politics you're on and who you're voting for, but at the moment, I think people that didn't even vote for this government are agreeing that they're doing a great job. They have been very proactive. They acted very early in bringing in the isolation restrictions and recognising the risk that we were at, because Australia is a huge country and we have people coming in from all around the world, thousands and thousands of people all the time. And the transmission of this virus has happened through people travelling, of course. So they responded very quickly to getting the message out about what the virus was and what we needed to do and how we needed to be protected. And then within a few weeks, they had come out with help packages because businesses were having to close, and young people and old people and everybody in between, they were losing their jobs. And the government has come up with massive financial packages for help.
You're so happy people.
very lucky people. I mean, I'm retired, so it hasn't affected me. My husband and I are very lucky that we haven't lost jobs because we are retired. But obviously children and grandchildren and their friends and whatnot, you know, it flows on throughout your families and your friends. So they've got a job keeper scheme where the employer is given, I think it's $1,500 a fortnight, Australian dollars a fortnight, to help keep their employees with their business, so that when they are able to open their doors again, those employees are able to come back and work in the business. So that seems to be a great initiative. There's many initiatives that they're doing, and even allowing people to, hopefully not many people have to do it, but to access their superannuation if they need help. They're putting more people on, because the ones who've lost their jobs are going for unemployment benefits and things like that. So they have employed lots more people helping with that. They've been very proactive in trying to give more money to education, so that they can, because our schools, by and large, our schools are closed, but they are still open. They are open for the children of the essential workers. So people on the front line who are in hospitals working, their children can still go to school. And people who are in the supermarkets or deliveries and things like that, obviously if they're out doing these essential services at the moment, then their children can still go to school. But the government is encouraging parents who are working from home, because a lot of people are working from home now, to have their children schooled from home with a link into the teacher at the school. So they've been providing some great funds, and it'll be interesting moving forward. I think a lot of people are finding that working from home can work very well, and we might find more people work from home part-time and not going to an office or a building directly, you know, the whole time. So it'll be interesting to see, I think, what they do and how it pans out. But no, the government, and every single day we have an update from the government, from the Prime Minister. We have the Chief Medical Officer in Australia reporting on all the latest and what's happening, and predicting when they might slowly ease the restrictions.
And what is the prediction? When can it be over?
They haven't predicted that. They've said things like social distancing will still take place for many, many months, but they are saying that we will more likely, by the end of May, be able to meet with other people again in small numbers and things like that. But they actually are being very cautious about putting when this will be, because they really, truly don't know.
Because
and
I
they're
heard...
very... Sorry, go on.
I heard that this things is forever with us, will be forever, this COVID-19, and the situation we are in can take place for 3 years.
Could very well. I think the government will be very reluctant to open our borders. I don't think people will be travelling outside of the country or into the country.
Yeah, there will be a local tourism.
Certainly. Yeah, and that's a massive thing. They are providing some good money to try and help the tourism, because tourism, like everywhere, has totally collapsed here in Australia. So they are, and you know, we are a country that benefits from tourism. So they're trying to make sure that that's going to be able to bounce back when the time's right. But they're really frightened, and quite wisely so, I guess, because countries like Japan and Singapore that eased the restrictions too soon have had a second wave of infection. So the government's very frightened if they pull back, or if people get complacent now and say, oh, well, you know, there's only 75 people in Australia have died, you know, the curve's flattened, we're okay, and then start doing all the things they've asked us not to do too soon. It could undo all the good work that's happened, and they could take off. So that the virus could take off again. So that's what they're really worried about. So I think they will be very cautious about how quickly they do. I know. It's really frustrating because already at the moment, there's a conversation now going on. We're all worried about the convention in Jaipur next year because we're not sure that we would be able to travel.
Right, we are not sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I guess
think
there's something will be made by digital things. I mean, there will be a Zoom conference.
I know. I think a lot of people are having meetings with Zoom. We are going to have a club meeting with Zoom. They haven't tried that yet, but they're hoping to
well,
do
we
that.
already tried it.
Oh, bravo. But you're young.
It was very nice.
No, that's wonderful. See, my club, we have 59 members in our club.
It's a big amount.
And our members range in age from 35 or in her 30s right up to 95.
Oh,
so
my
we've
God.
got a big, and the 95-year-old is wonderful. She's a very glamorous, very vibrant lady, and she's one of the girls, and it's just fabulous. So we've got a great president, and she's trying everything to keep us connected, and I'm sure very soon we will have a meeting by Zoom. I know that the district has been running their executive meetings by Zoom, and Inner Wheel Australia has done the same thing, and probably International Inner Wheel as well, because they wouldn't be able to fly to their executive meetings. So, it's a new world, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And I wanted to ask you in the end of our conversation, what can you wish to all our ladies all around the world?
Well, I wish you all the joy and friendship that you get out of Inner Wheel. I mean, being a member of Inner Wheel and having the opportunity to meet people from all around the world. I've heard the term friendship without borders, and I think it's something we can all experience and we can all share. Look out for one another, help the world wherever we can, always extend the rose of friendship. Can you see the red rose? The rose of friendship to everybody, but never give up hope. I think President Phyllis had "Together We Can Save Lives" as the hashtag that's now being used with all of it. And I really feel Inner Wheel has a huge part to play in that. Encourage all our members to stay positive, stay connected, just like you've reached out to me today, which is just so special. Thank you. I'm getting emotional now. People who know me know that I want to hug you right now. And I can't. I'm a big hugger, and I love the power of a hug, the emotion of a hug, and the connection that it gives. So I'm giving you a very big virtual hug in Inner Wheel Friendship and Love, Irina. It's just been a delight to talk to you. Thank you. And congratulations on your wonderful English. Give my love to your club angel, dear Nellie.
Nellie is perfect. She's wonderful.
She's your club angel, and she's a very special lady, and we've got some gorgeous members in Inner Wheel, and you're obviously one of them. So thank you for giving me your time. It's been the highlight of my isolation, I think. Thank you.
I'm very happy that you found time to connect with us. And
my pleasure, anytime.
I guess it's not.
I'm wearing my Inner Wheel Australia scarf.
That's
the Inner Wheel Australia scarf. So I'm all dressed up for the Inner Wheel.
So it was very nice to see you here, to hear you, and to meet you. And hope we will see somewhere on the globe. It's a word that I always end the conversation.
Thank you so much, Elise. I look forward to meeting you in person one day. Ciao.
I hope so. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.